Welcome to the world of EMRYS, where stories come alive, ideas spark, and curiosity leads the way. Whether you're here for the thrill, the chill, or the real, you're in the right place. Where ancient whispers meet modern ears. Here, we breathe life into forgotten folktales, legends, and stories passed down through generations. If you crave mystery, magic, and meaning, you're in the right place. Subscribe, sit back, hit that subscribe button and join the journey. This is EMRYS, let's dive in. She walked into the river like it was her home. Not scared. Not crying. She looked peaceful, like someone waiting for a friend. Then the water took her. And we never saw her again. My name is Timi. I come from a small fishing village near the mouth of the Niger Delta. We are not rich, but we have enough. We live off fish, crabs, and what the river gives. We follow the old ways. We believe in the river spirits. We respect them. We fear them too. When I was a boy, I used to play by the water with the chief's daughter, Ebiere. She was quiet and gentle. She liked to sit by the river and throw pebbles into it. Her laugh was soft, like water moving over stones. Then, one day, she left. Her father sent her to the city to live with an uncle. He said the village was too small for her. Said he wanted her to get modern sense. She was only 10 when she left. I didn't see her again for 7 years. The day she came back, everyone stared. She looked different, tall, slim, with big city clothes and long braids. But her eyes were the same. Calm. Deep. Like the river. I didn't think she remembered me. But one afternoon, she came to where I was cleaning fishing nets. Timi, she said, just like that. I looked up. She smiled. You still smell like fish. We both laughed. After that, she came often. She liked to walk by the river. We talked. About the city. About the village. About nothing. I liked being near her. She made the air feel lighter. But then strange things started happening. First, the river changed. The water turned dark. Fish stopped coming close to shore. Nets came up empty. People said it was the river god. They said he was angry. Then, one morning, Mama I, the old woman who sells herbs, said something strange. The river is waiting, she whispered. The debt must be paid. I didn't understand. A few others did. I could see it in their faces. Later that day, I asked my father what she meant. He sat quietly for a long time. Then he told me something I'll never forget. Years ago, he said, after the big flood that almost destroyed the village, the chief made a promise to the river god. He asked for protection. In return, he said he would offer one of his own when the time came. I felt cold all over. You think it's Ebiere? I asked. He didn't answer. The next few days were heavy. People were quiet. The chief stopped coming out of his compound. Ebiere stopped visiting. The river stayed dark. The fish were gone. Boats sat still on the shore. One night, I couldn't sleep. I walked outside, toward the river. That's when I saw them. People moving silently, holding torches. Walking in a line. I followed from the trees. At the edge of the river, I saw her. Ebiere was wearing white. Her face was calm. Her father stood behind her, his eyes on the ground. The priest was there too, mumbling prayers. No one cried. No one screamed. She stepped into the water. One step. Then another. Until she was gone. No sound. No splash. Just, gone. I ran. I didn't go home that night. I stayed in the forest until the sky turned blue. When I got back to the village, no one said a word about what happened. People acted like nothing had happened. But their eyes said different. They all knew. That was 2 years ago. Since then, the river is come again. The fish came back. The boats move. The village is normal. But I'm not. Sometimes, at night, I still walk to the river. I sit where she stood. I wait. One night, I saw her. Just for a moment. She was standing at the edge, soaked and pale, staring at me. She smiled. Then she vanished. I haven't told anyone. They wouldn't believe me. But I know what I saw. And I know one thing for sure. The river chose her. After Ebiere walked into the river, the village moved on too fast. I couldn't. I kept thinking maybe I was wrong. Maybe it was a dream. Maybe she ran away. But deep down, I knew what I saw. She didn't run. She gave herself to the river. The next day, I saw the chief walking with the priest. They didn't look sad. They didn't look guilty. They just looked tired. Some people acted like she had never come back from the city at all. That part made me angry. I started to ask questions. That's when the whispers started. Let it rest, someone told me. You're asking too much. Do you want trouble? I didn't care. I went to Mama I. She was old. No one knew how old. She lived at the edge of the village, near the mangroves. Her house was full of herbs, bones, and carved wood. People went to her for healing, not answers. But I knew she knew things. When I got there, she was sitting on the floor, crushing leaves with a stone. You came because of the girl, she said, without looking up. I froze. She looked up at me, her eyes cloudy but sharp. Sit. I sat. She didn't talk for a while. She just walked. The smell of crushed leaves filled the hut. Then she spoke. There are some things the river remembers, she said. There are some names it keeps. I didn't know what to say. She was promised long ago. Her father made the vow. It wasn't the first time it happened. But it should be the last. What do you mean? I asked. She looked at me like I was still a boy. A sacrifice, boy. A blood promise. You think the flood stopped by chance? You think the fish came back for free? The river gives. The river takes. But she didn't choose it, I said. She didn't deserve it. No one ever does. I felt sick. She comes to you, Mama, I said. What? In your dreams. In the water. She's trying to speak. That's not normal. I nodded. I hadn't told anyone about the night I saw her. But somehow, Mama, I knew. She is not at rest, she said. Something went wrong. Or something was not done. She reached behind her and pulled out a small gourd. It had red marks on it. She placed it in my hands. Take this. If you want to hear her clearly, break it near the river. But be sure. You can't unhear the truth. I took it. I didn't say thank you. I just left. That night, I sat by the river again. The moon was full. The air was heavy. I held the gourd in my hands for a long time. I thought of Ebiere's laugh. Her voice. The way she looked at the water like it was calling her. Then I threw the gourd hard onto the ground. It cracked open with a dull thud. Smoke came out. Not thick, but enough to make the air shift. At first, nothing happened. Then I heard something. A whisper. Timi. It was her voice. I froze. She said it again. Timi, help me. I looked around, but no one was there. Then the river moved. Just a little. Like something under the surface was waking up. The whisper was clearer now. They lied. Who lied? I asked. My voice shook. The priest, my father. It wasn't the river that chose me. What do you mean? But she didn't answer. The voice faded. The water went still. The air was cold now. I sat there for a long time, shaking. The next morning, I went to the chief's compound. His guards tried to stop me, but I forced my way in. He was sitting alone, drinking palm wine. He looked up at me like I was a ghost. You saw her, didn't you? He said. I didn't answer. He sighed. I didn't want to do it, he said. But they said the river needed her. Who is they? The elders. The priest. My father did the same thing when I was a boy. That's how the village survived the old drought. So you gave your own daughter? I asked. He nodded. Just once. You didn't ask her. She wouldn't have agreed. Would you? I walked out. I didn't care if they cursed me. I knew now. The river didn't choose her. They did. The night after I spoke to the chief, I didn't sleep. I lay on my mat staring at the ceiling, waiting for the voice again. But the river was quiet. The air felt strange though. Heavy, like the night was holding its breath. Then, just before dawn, I heard the door creak open. I sat up fast. No one was there. But I felt it. The air around me was colder than it should be. My skin broke into goosebumps. Then I smelled it. River water. Thick. Muddy. Mixed with something else, something rotten. I didn't move. I couldn't. It was like my body forgot how. And then I heard her voice. Soft, right behind me. Why didn't you stop them? I turned, fast. No one. But my mat was wet. The next morning, I went back to Mama I. She looked at me and said, it started. What has? She wants justice. But she's dead. Mama I shook her head. Dead things don't sleep when they've been wronged. That day, strange things began to happen in the village. The river turned sour. It smelled bad, like something was dying under it. The fish disappeared again. Children got sick. Even animals refused to go near the water. Then the priest went missing. They found his clothes near the riverbank, torn and soaked. No blood. No body. Just his necklace stuck in the mud. The elders said it was a crocodile. I knew better. They tried to do another offering. A goat this time. They tied it to a raft and pushed it into the water. It floated for a while, then burst into flames without fire. People screamed. Everyone ran. After that, no one went near the river. Except me. I went back at night. I lit a small fire and waited. She came again. Not in the flesh. Not really. But the air shifted. And the smell came first. Mud. Wet. Death. Then the voice. Timi. She sounded close. I didn't want to go. I was scared. I told them no. I swallowed hard. But you went anyway. I had no choice. You walked into the water. They said if I didn't, others would die. There was silence. Then she said something that made my blood turn cold. They lied. The river didn't ask for me. The priest did. What? He made a deal. With something under the water. Not the God our people pray to. Something older. Something hungry. I felt my legs go numb. They tricked me. Tricked my father too. He thought he was saving the village. But he made it worse. What do you want me to do? I asked. Her voice was closer now. Tell them. Make them listen. Or I won't stop. Stop what? But she was already gone. The next morning, I went to the village square. I shouted. I told them everything. About the priest. The lie. The voice. The offering. People called me mad. Some spat near me. Others told me to leave. Even my father told me to stop. But that night, 2 more elders vanished. The river took them. The village began to break. A week passed. Then, one night, the chief came to my house. He was shaking. He looked older. Smaller. You were right, he said. I didn't say anything. She came to me, he whispered. She stood at the foot of my bed. Her hair was dripping. Her eyes were wrong. He covered his face. I begged her. I told her I was sorry. She didn't come for sorry, I said. He looked at me with hollow eyes. What does she want? She wants the truth. The village was scared now. Nobody said it out loud, but I saw it in their eyes. In the way they locked their doors before sunset. In the way they whispered prayers with shaking hands. Everyone felt it, the river was angry. But not the way they thought. It wasn't the river god. It was something else. Something older. Something they fed with lies. Ebiere had told me the priest made a deal. He lied to the chief. Lied to everyone. He offered her to something dark in the water, not to save us, but to gain power. And now that thing was awake. And hungry again. The day after the chief came to my hut, I heard the drums. Not for dancing. Not for joy. These were the warning drums, low, deep, slow. I ran to the square. A crowd was already gathered. An elder was dead. They said he drowned in his own hut. Water all over the floor. No open pots. No spilled basins. Just water, thick with river mud. And a fish scale on his chest. People looked at me. No more mocking in their eyes. Just fear. Someone finally asked, what do we do? I didn't know. So I went back to Mama I. She was waiting for me outside. You should have come sooner, she said. It's growing. What is? She pointed to the river. The thing the priest called. You mean a spirit? She shook her head. No. Spirit can be talked to. Bargained with. This is a mouth. A hunger. I felt sick. Then why hasn't it taken me? I asked. Because you heard her. You listened. That gives you time. She handed me a small bundle. Inside was red chalk, a carved fish bone, and a dry piece of leaf. Go to the old tree near the river. Draw this symbol. Speak her name. Not the thing's name, hers. She may come again. What if the thing comes instead? Mama I looked at me for a long time. Then run. That night, I did as she said. The moon was low. The wind didn't blow. Everything was still. I found the old tree by the bank. Its roots dipped into the water like fingers. I drew the mark with the chalk. I whispered her name. Ebiere. Nothing happened. I whispered again. Ebiere. Then the air changed. The tree groaned. The water moved. And she stepped out. Not all the way. Just to her waist. Her skin was pale, stretched thin. Her eyes were dark, but I knew them. It was still her. Timi, she said. I'm here, I said. She looked tired. It's getting stronger. What is it? She shook her head. I don't know its name. Only its hunger. You said the priest called it. She nodded. He fed it secrets. Lies. Lives. I was just the first. Can we stop it? I don't know. But truth weakens it. The more they hide, the stronger it gets. I remembered what the chief said, how his father made the same deal long ago. This wasn't just about her. This went back years. How do I make the truth come out? I asked. She looked down at the water. Bring them here. Who? The ones who knew. The ones who stayed silent. Then what? You don't have to do anything, she said. The river remembers. And then she was gone. The next day, I did something dangerous. I stood in the market and called out the names of the elders. The chief. The priest brother. The keeper of the shrine. All of them. I said their names loud enough for everyone to hear. I said, come to the river. At dusk. Or it will come to you. They didn't like it. But they came. All of them. Dusk came fast. The whole village stood at the river. The air was heavy again. The water still. Then it moved. Slow at first. Then faster. Like something circling under the surface. People stepped back. Even the elders. Then the tree groaned. And Ebiere rose. Half submerged. Face calm. Hair dripping. She looked at them. One by one. You fed it, she said. You let it grow. You used my name to hide your sins. The elders started shaking. One tried to walk away. The water rose. Wrapped around his leg. Dragged him in. Screams. Panic. Another one tried to run. The water moved like hands, grabbed him. Gone. The chief fell to his knees. I didn't know, he cried. I swear. Ebiere looked at him. I believe you. She raised one hand. The water stopped. The rest of the elders stood frozen, too scared to breathe. She looked at me. It's not done yet. But now they see. And then the river swallowed her again. After that night, everything changed. No one in the village talked about what happened at the river. Not out loud. Not around others. But you could feel it. The silence was full of fear. 2 elders were gone. The chief stopped coming out of his compound. And the river? It didn't flood. It didn't dry. It just waited. Like it was watching. The thing that lived under it, the one the priest fed with lies and blood, was still there. But now, it wasn't hiding. It wanted more. I couldn't sleep anymore. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Ebiere's face. Her eyes full of something I didn't understand. Not anger. Not sadness. Something heavier. She didn't come to me again. But I could feel her near the water. Always near. I started to write everything down. The truth. All of it. Names, dates, the old vows, the drowned ones. Even what the priest did before he died. I hid the pages in a jar and buried them under my mother's conservatory. Just in case I didn't make it. Because I knew it wasn't over. Not yet. 3 nights later, the sky turned red. Not fully. Just at the edges. Like a wound. Then the drums started again. Low. Fast. Scared. Another body. A girl. Just 13. They said she was taken near the river. But this time, something was different. She came back. Walking. Eyes white. Clothes soaked. She said nothing. Just pointed to the shrine. Then she collapsed. Alive, but empty. Like something had scraped out her soul and left the skin behind. I went back to Mama I. She looked older. Her hands shook as she stirred her pot. It's hungry again, she said. I thought Ebiere stopped it. She only warned it. She doesn't control it. No one does. But maybe we can seal it. How? She pulled out a jar, small, made of bone. Tied with red string. This can hold part of it. Not all. But enough. If we trap the oldest lie inside it. I didn't understand. She explained, someone must stand in the river and say the truth. Out loud. All of it. In front of everyone. Not whispered. Not written. Said with the chest open. And then it will come. And it will choose. It always chooses. Who? She didn't answer. That evening, I called the village. They were tired. Afraid. Some begged me to stop. But I stood by the water, held the bone jar high, and I spoke. I told them about the priest. About the girl. About Ebiere. About the deal made long ago, the blood that was given, the lies told to cover it, and the thing that grew in the deep. I said the river didn't want gifts. It wanted truth. Silence fell. Then the water split. Not splashed, split. Like it was opening its mouth. And from it, a shape rose. Not a monster. A man. But tall. Too tall. Skin like water. Eyes like deep holes. It didn't speak. It just pointed. At me. My legs almost gave out. But then I heard her. Ebiere. Behind me. He's not the one, she said. She stepped forward, out of the shadows. The spirit turned. They stared at each other for a long time. Then she walked into the water again. This time, slowly. No fear. No fight. Just calm. The spirit faded. The water closed. And it was done. The flood stopped for good after that. The fish returned. The girl who collapsed began to speak again. But her voice was never the same. The chief left the village. No one followed him. The elders who stayed. They built a new shrine, not to worship, but to warn. And me. I still sit by the river. Sometimes I think I hear her laugh in the wind. Sometimes I dream of water rising over my head. But I'm not afraid anymore. Because now I know. The river never chose her. We did. And she chose to save us anyway. Thank you for watching, stay tuned for next.